Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janin, and today I want to talk to you about some of the things that you can do when you have leftover plastic. If you've ever taken your clothes to dry clean, now I know not a lot of people dry clean anymore, but every once in a while there's things that you can't wash yourself and you can't just throw it in the washing machine. And suit jackets and things like that, or certain dresses that are made out of certain fabrics, you cannot throw it in the washing machine. So in those situations I do recommend dry cleaning. But when you pick up your clothes from the dry cleaners, they always come with a plastic over it to protect your clothes, obviously, and they usually have a paper here on the inside with the name of the business and all their information, along with the metal hanger. And this just so happens to have a plastic cover over the metal hanger because this was for my husband's suit that we took to dry clean. So a man's suit is bigger, so it wouldn't hang well on just the metal hanger alone, so they put a plastic sleeve over it. But one of the things that I've used this for, which I thought, because I always try to think about what can I do with the things that I have to reuse it, repurpose it, or make better use of it, or instead of just throwing it out. I'm one of those that I like to reduce, reuse, recycle, and try to be a little bit more earth friendly and earth conscious. So what I started doing a long time ago was, when I had these plastics, I would use it to cover my jackets and things that I don't use very often. Now here in Hawaii, the weather is always really hot. So the only time that I get to use jackets is if I'm in an air-conditioned building, or when I used to work in an air-conditioned building. But now I don't use my leather jackets as often as I'd like to. Now here in Hawaii, it's always pretty dusty because there's always trade winds blowing. And when we have the windows open, the dust comes in, and even if you don't have your windows open, there's still dust that can accumulate. So what happens is, when it's hanging in the closet for months and months and months, you tend to get dust buildup on the top shoulder of your jacket. Now, I bet if you've had a jacket hanging in your closet for, months or years, I would tell you go and take it out and take a look to see if you have the dust on it, if you didn't already notice that. And another factor that seems to affect our clothes hanging in the closet for long periods of time is when you turn on the light, after many years, the light will tend to fade your clothes depending on the fiber content. Usually cottons and leathers and things like that tend to fade a little bit here on the shoulders. And so what you can do in that case is you can actually get a piece of cloth and just cover it if you're worried about fading. But I try to keep my clothes kind of in the dark for the most part. But what I've done is I've taken the plastic from the jacket hanger and I've cut it off here. You can decide how long you want to cut it, or how much you want to cut off rather of that plastic, and just use the top part of the plastic to cover the shoulder area to prevent the dust and a little bit of, it'll help with a little bit of the fading. Plastics you can still get fading because the plastic is clear, but I don't recommend, especially if you live in a really humid place. Like here in Hawaii, it's very humid. We have a lot of moisture in our air, and the closer you live to the beach or the ocean, you have a lot of salt air. So what happens is if you live in that kind of place and you cover the whole jacket or outfit with the plastic, you'll tend to get molding or weird things happening with your clothes, because the plastic, what it'll do is trap the moisture in underneath, and it'll affect your clothing. So that's why I recommend that you only use a small part of the plastic to just cover the shoulder and the top part of the jacket or the outfit. You know, if you do live in a dry climate where it's really hot and dry, then you don't have to worry about molding or moisture getting trapped underneath the plastic. You know, you can use the whole length of the plastic that came with your dry cleaning to cover your jacket or outfit. You know, it's not going to affect it so much. But there are certain fibers that do need to breathe, because fabric is like, especially when you're working with natural fibers like cotton, and you have leather, which is in an animal skin, it has to breathe. It has to have air. So that's one thing you want to be careful about. Even if you do live in a dry climate, you still want to be aware every now and then. Take a look, take the plastic off to see if it's affecting your clothes in any way, because you never really know. But one thing I also suggest is never ever use the metal hanger by itself to hang your clothes on. Now this one just so happens to have two hangers, I guess because the jacket was kind of on the heavy side. But if I were to take this off and take off, I have to rip this piece off here. If I were to take off this plastic sleeve, it would show two hangers, two metal hangers here that are just covered with the dry cleaner's name on paper. But not all dry cleaners will cover their metal hangers like this. So if you have your clothes exposed to the metal part, a lot of times it can get rusty. Again, if you do live in a moist climate, or in an area where, you know, maybe it snows, so there's still a lot of cold air, it can rust your hangers, and it can create a lot of problems by poking out the clothes and distorting the fabric. So don't ever hang your clothes in the closet with metal hangers. Always use plastic or wood or something like that. Just because, you know, you don't want to have to throw out your clothes if it still fits you well and you like wearing it. But try this out, and you know, we want to protect the things that we have, especially when we've made all that investment, right? And especially if something fits us well and we really like it. Protect your clothes. And if you don't have these plastic covers from dry cleaning, because maybe you've never ever taken any clothes to dry clean, what you can do is use a plastic garbage bag, usually like the white ones that are about this size, that you can buy pretty much anywhere they sell garbage bags. You just cut a hole at the bottom of the garbage bag and then just slip it over your jacket, so it would have the same effect as this would. This is just a little bit thinner of a plastic than a white garbage bag would, but it would still serve the same purpose, which is to protect the shoulders of your jacket or your outfit from dust and discoloration. So try this out. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Share this video with all your friends and people who you know would get great value out of watching these things or watching these videos. And please subscribe to this channel so that I can share all these tips with you. And please like this video, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. Aloha.